Digging through the desert, Egypt is creating an artificial river, the largest of its kind. Spanning up to 114 kilometers, this artificial waterway will cater to the needs of the agricultural regions of the new Delta project. The new artificial river will run parallel to the Nile, using recycled water from agricultural drainage water and groundwater. The whole project comes at a cost of $5.25 billion, or 160 billion Egyptian pounds. So, why is Egypt taking such a huge leap when it already has a supply of the longest river in the world, the Nile River? What does this project mean for ordinary citizens already grappling with the effects of inflation? Watch this video to the end to find out. If you're new to this channel, welcome to Visionary Builds. We cover everything from floating cities to insane skyscrapers, so consider subscribing to watch 2 amazing videos each week. Even though most of the Nile River flows through Egypt, it doesn't mean that it could use all of it. One major reason for this is the Grand Renaissance Dam. The Grand Renaissance Dam is on the Blue Nile tributary in the northern Ethiopian highlands, from where 85% of the Nile's waters flow. The reservoir behind the $4.2 billion dam has a surface area the size of Greater London and has a capacity of 74 billion cubic meters. Since its construction began in 2011, Ethiopia has filled the dam 4 times, limiting the water supply of Egypt. Egypt says the annual share of water has reached 500 cubic meters per person at a time when the United Nations defines water scarcity at 1,000 cubic meters of water per person a year. This has led to a serious conflict between both nations to the extent that the International Crisis Group, an organization that works to prevent wars, warned that armed conflict was possible. Since then, there has been little progress in bridging the gap between both parties. Negotiations spearheaded by the African Union have failed, and all attempts to revive it have gone down the drain. Egyptian Minister of Water Resources, speaking at the 2023 UN Water Conference, warned that this conflict can put an existential danger on 150 million citizens of both Egypt and Sudan. Sudan, with a population of 48 million people, is also heavily reliant on water from the Nile. Egypt has a water deficit of up to 55% of its water needs, which is 120 billion cubic meters. The Western Desert's groundwater and wells are very salty in these areas, and the salinity reaches 10,000 parts per million. This is disastrous for an agricultural-centric country like Egypt, where 50% of the population relies on agriculture as their source of livelihood. It needs water for households and agriculture, especially for growing cotton, which requires a lot of water. Water scarcity has led Egypt to import much of the crops from overseas. In fact, it's the largest importer of wheat, superseded only by China. The Russia-Ukraine war doubled the price of food commodities, leaving Egypt scrambling with a hefty $15 billion food bill. The situation worsened as 80% of Egypt's wheat imports come from both Russia and Ukraine. A treaty from 1929 gave Egypt and Sudan rights to almost all the Nile's water. It also gave them the right to veto projects by countries upstream, such as Ethiopia, that would deprive them of their share of water. However, Ethiopia considered the old treaties irrelevant in this day and age, and it decided to start building the dam during the Arab Spring when there was political turmoil in Egypt. Moreover, Ethiopia aims to provide clean electricity to its population, 60% of which is without an electrical supply. Climate change is also somewhat to be blamed for this mess. Factors like water scarcity, high temperature, erosion, and saltwater intrusion into freshwater has badly affected most of its fertile lands. During the past 70 years, the country has lost 2.5 million acres of land as a result of desertification and urban expansion. The loss of cultivable soil has increased Egypt's food dependency, as it has to import 65% of its basic food needs, while most of the countries in the Nile Basin enjoy growing their own food. Egypt's leading imports are corn, soybeans, wheat, cotton, and vegetable oil. In reality, if not for the water crisis, Egypt would be exporting these items and enjoying millions in profit. The new Delta project isn't just a response to the current situation, but also for securing the future. It's expected that Egypt's population of 107 million will reach 150 million by 2025. So it's not just about today, it's about providing a better future to the upcoming generations. The new Delta is another large-scale national project that aims to enhance Egypt's agricultural capacity. Located west of Alexandria, this project will oversee the cultivation of 2.2 million acres, which constitute a quarter of Egypt's current agricultural land. These crops will rely on surface water sourced from the Rashid branch of the Nile River. as well as the recycled agricultural water brought through the artificial river. The artificial river serves as a path for transferring water from the Al Hammam treatment plant. The Al Hammam treatment plant holds the distinction of being the largest treatment facility globally, in addition to utilizing a portion of the available groundwater. It's a living testament to Egypt's commitment to conserve water resources. It's broken 4 Guinness Book records, boasting an impressive capacity of treating 7.5 million cubic meters per day. The treatment plant provides irrigation for approximately 1.2 million acres of agricultural land west of the Nile Delta area. It'll also remove a significant amount of pollution from Marriott Lake and the Mediterranean seacoast in Alexandria. During the rainy season, it drains and diverts excess water that could contribute to the sinking of lands in Bahira Governorate to the new Delta area. To collect drain water, the government is building 30 water lifting stations that'll collect drain water against the natural slope of the land and triple treat it later on. The cost of the water course, lifting stations, and treatment plant alone is 60 billion Egyptian pounds. The artificial river is an important feat both in terms of construction and purpose. This river will consist of 3 channels constructed in different conditions from the rest of the irrigation channels in Egypt. The river will transport water to desert areas that are more than 100 meters above the Nile River level. But it's not just about land reformation and water. To put Egypt on a global stage in terms of agricultural produce, it needs supporting infrastructure. For this purpose, the government has launched the Mustaqbal Egypt project, which is located within the area of the New Delta project. It aims to develop the northwestern coast region through the establishment of new urban and agricultural communities characterized by an appropriate administrative system. Industrial complexes will be constructed based on full-fledged agricultural production and harvesting with the latest mechanisms, then sorting, packaging, and manufacturing. Under its umbrella, roads, underground water wells, and 2 power stations of 350 megawatts will be introduced. Moreover, Mustaqbal Egypt will also include residential, administrative buildings, and warehouses for storing agricultural produce. The target is to reclaim 500,000 acres of land, out of which 200,000 acres are already reclaimed. By doing this, Egypt is bridging the agricultural gap at the local level to provide high-quality agricultural products at reasonable prices for citizens and to export the surplus abroad. For a nation already struggling with inflation, this would be a blessing in disguise. In September 2023, Egypt's inflation rate reached an all-time high of 38%, making it difficult for the average citizen to purchase necessities such as food, clothing, and shelter. The project's proximity to the Sphinx and Burj Al Arab airports and the ports of Decatur and Alexandria will facilitate the delivery of goods and make it an attractive destination for investors. The cultivated land will rely on the artificial river for irrigation purposes. The first channel of the river is 42 kilometers long, including 26 kilometers of pipes and 16 kilometers of open channels to transport about 10 million cubic meters from the Rashid branch within the Mustaqbal Egypt project. The second channel extends about 170 meters from Hammam Station to transfer 7 million cubic meters per day to the south of Daba'a. The third channel consists of 2 pipelines that will carry recycled water from southern and western wastewater treatment and desalination plants. Through these initiatives, Egypt's agricultural ministry aims to strengthen food security, reduce the import gap of strategic commodities, and support activities related to agriculture such as livestock and poultry. The new delta will not only establish agricultural and industrial complexes, but also link agriculture, manufacturing industry, and trade. The production of commercially valuable crops like wheat and corn, vegetable, fruits, and industrial crops is expected to increase by 10 to 15%. However, it seems like Egypt is in for a grand overhaul. Take the new administrative capital, for example. Built for a staggering $59 billion, it plans to house 6 million residents and relieve some of the burden on the old capital, Cairo. We'll discuss this new city in another video. For now, if you like today's video, then drop a like and hit the bell icon. Subscribe to Visionary Builds for 2 each week.